Steve Jobs. His own engineers coined the term reality distortion field because he could walk into a room and convince you something impossible was happening next week. He told an engineer that shaving 10 seconds off the Mac boot time would save 100 human lifetimes per year. The engineer found a way. He was a fruitarian who drank so much carrot juice his skin turned orange. He believed his diet meant he didn't need deodorant. He was wrong. His co-workers had meetings about it. He got fired from Apple in 1985. The company he built in his garage came back in 1997. By the time he was done, it was the most valuable company on earth. His product launches made grown adults cry in line. He wore the same black turtleneck every day and turned it into the most recognizable outfit in business history. He's the only tech CEO whose death made the entire planet stop scrolling. God tier. Jeff Bezos. On paper, this guy should be S tier. Richest man in the world. Got absolutely jacked in his 50s. Went to space. His laugh has gotten progressively more evil over the decades. There are literal montages of it going from normal to Dr. Evil. He built a $500 million super yacht, so big it needed its own support yacht. The city of Rotterdam offered to dismantle a historic bridge to get it through. The public backlash was so bad they had to sneak it out at night. But his rocket looks like something you can't show on a family channel. He face-planted at a Blue Origin landing, and his nude selfies got leaked because his girlfriend's brother sold them to the National Enquirer for $200,000. He's a Bond villain whose origin story keeps getting interrupted by slapstick. C tier. Larry Ellison, the co-founder of Oracle, the database company that half the Fortune 500 runs on. This man bought 98% of a Hawaiian island for $300 million. He owns multiple yachts, including one he sold to David Geffen for $200 million, then downgraded to a $160 million yacht named after a samurai. He won the America's Cup sailing race because owning yachts wasn't enough. He had to win a yacht race. Then he created an entire racing league called Sail GP because he got bored. He's an A instead of S because the aura is all money-based. Impressive, but it's bought aura, not earned aura. He's basically if a credit card had a personality. A tier. Elon Musk. He paid $44 billion for Twitter. Tried to back out. A judge said no. The platform lost 80% of its value under him. He streamed Path of Exile 2 pretending to be a hardcore gamer. The internet noticed he didn't know basic mechanics like mana and looting. Someone found his account was active while he was on a live call with German politicians. He admitted to paying people to play on his accounts. He unveiled the Cybertruck on stage, bragged about armor glass, had his designer throw a metal ball at the window, and it shattered. They tried the second window. That one shattered too. He stood in front of 2 broken windows for the rest of the presentation. He called a rescue diver who saved 12 kids from a cave in Thailand a pedo guy because the diver said his submarine was a PR stunt. His shirtless yacht photos in Mykonos became an international meme. He dances on stage like a guy trying to return a sweater at Nordstrom. The richest man alive with the social awareness of an NPC F tier. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, China's answer to Amazon, and the biggest e-commerce company in Asia. This man made a kung fu movie with Jet Li and Donnie Yen, where he was the star. He financed the whole thing. He did Michael Jackson dance routines at Alibaba conferences in front of thousands of employees. More showman energy than any billionaire on the planet. Then he criticized the Chinese government at a banking conference and vanished. His $37 billion Ant Group IPO got cancelled overnight. Alibaba got hit with a $2.8 billion fine. He resurfaced months later in Europe looking like a different person. Eventually moved to Tokyo as a college professor, kung fu movie star to international exile. B tier. The aura was real, but it got taken away. Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos, a blood testing startup that promised to run hundreds of tests from a single drop of blood. She faked a deep voice for her entire career to sound more authoritative. Co-workers said she'd slip back to her real voice after a few drinks. She wore black turtlenecks to cosplay as Steve Jobs. She built a $9 billion company where the blood tests didn't work. Her company was secretly using Siemens machines instead of their own technology. Real patients got real wrong diagnoses. She testified for 7 days in court, and her defense was that she was merely overly optimistic. That's not a tech founder. That's a theater kid who went too far with method acting. F tier, Mark Zuckerberg. When he was 19, he had 4,000 Harvard students' personal data, and his friend asked how. His response, "They trust me. Dumb fucks." That's the guy who now has 3 billion users' data. He testified before Congress on a 4-inch booster seat because the chair was too big. Sat there for 5 hours dripping swat while senators asked how Facebook makes money. His answer, "Senator, we run ads." He went surfing in Hawaii, covered in so much sunscreen he looked like a mime on a surfboard. He said it was a disguise. It did not work. He renamed his company Meta bet $77 billion on the metaverse, and the best he could show was a selfie with a legless avatar that looked like a 2006 Wii character. Fortune called it the $10 billion selfie. Then he started training MMA, grew a beard, put on a gold chain, and tried to rebrand as a fighter. But you don't get to call your users dumb, sit on a booster seat, lose $77 billion on virtual reality, and then put on a chain and pretend you're hard. That's not a redemption arc. F tier, Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and one of Facebook's earliest investors. This man secretly spent $10 million to bankroll Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker Media. A jury awarded $140 million. Gawker went bankrupt. He did it because they outed him as gay in 2007, and he waited 9 years for revenge. 9 years. He's into young blood transfusions to stay alive longer. When asked directly, his only response was, "I'm not a vampire." He bought a $13.8 million compound in New Zealand as apocalypse insurance. Reid Hoffman said among billionaires, "Buying a house in New Zealand is code for I'm prepping for the end of civilization." He co-founded Palantir, which works directly with the CIA. That's not a tech billionaire. That's a Bond villain with a PayPal account. S tier, Bill Gates. He can jump over a chair from a standing position. Proved it on national TV. That's his one party trick. He once said his biggest fear was not being able to think, and then got a pie thrown in his face in Brussels. Didn't dodge it. Didn't even flinch. Just stood there and took it like a man who has never been in a fight. He met with Jeffrey Epstein at least a dozen times after Epstein had already been convicted. His wife told him she was uncomfortable. He kept going back. When the DOJ released Epstein's files in 2026, draft emails alleged Epstein helped Gates hide an STI from Melinda. Gates denies those claims. But just last week he held a town hall with his own foundation staff and admitted to having affairs with 2 Russian women while married. A bridge player and a nuclear physicist. He apologized to his own employees. Melinda had already been meeting with divorce lawyers. The $25 billion divorce followed. He called it a mistake. She rejected that publicly. The man built Microsoft, and his legacy is a chair jump, a pie to the face, and Jeffrey Epstein's email folder. F tier. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, got fired by his own board. They said they couldn't trust him. A former board member said they found out about ChatGPT's launch on Twitter, not from Altman. Executives described psychological abuse. 5 days later, he got rehired because the money was too important. 3 CEOs in 72 hours. The drama is wild, but the aura isn't earned yet. He's famous for one product he didn't build and a boardroom fight he almost lost. He's a footnote trying to convince you he's the headline. C tier. Jensen Huang, the co-founder and CEO of NVIDIA, the company that builds the chips powering the entire AI revolution. He's the only tech CEO right now whose outfit is more famous than his product. The $9,000 Tom Ford leather jacket is the brand. Zuckerberg called him Taylor Swift, but for tech. He didn't build an app. He didn't build a website. He built the chips that power every major AI model on the planet. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all of them run on his hardware. His jacket spawned a knockoff industry. He controls the infrastructure that the entire AI era runs on. Every tech company on Earth is paying rent to this man, and most people couldn't pick him out of a lineup 2 years ago. That's not a CEO. That's a landlord for artificial intelligence. S tier.